Hello. How's it going? I didn't do sound check, so I don't know if this sounds ridiculous. In fact, I can hear buzzing. I don't know why this always happens. I should probably like get in the habit of resetting this. One moment, please. Oh, there, I'm back. We're back. Okay, that's great. I can't hear the desktop though. Alright, it's just very quiet song. That's alright. Alright, okay. Hang on a second. Yeah. I'm really out of practice with this streaming thing. Might as well go to this one here. Hello. I'm still setting up the stream. So I was gonna stream last night, but then I got too scared. It was really scary, guys. Customization? Playlists? Where's the tags? Where do you put the tags? There. Oh my god. Girik is here. Hello, welcome to the stream. Okay, there's that. How's it looking? Because before I had a really bad bitrate. It looks okay on my end. Cool. I think that's it. I've got to activate the chat source. So I forget how to do that. Also, there's no chat on this screen. I should change that. There should be chat on this screen. Give me a moment. Chat. Social stream. Activate source. Activate selected. Okay. Sweet. Okay, let's just set up chat on this. I want to put chat on this. Browser source? Chat Ninja? I don't actually know what it's called. Hang on a second. Desktop. No chat. It's called Chat Ninja. That's not actually what I'm using, but that's what it's called. Browser. Add existing. Chat Ninja. Okay. There it is there. Cool. That's nice. Is that a good spot for it, do we think? Probably. Maybe a couple of pixels in, eh? Like 10's okay. 10 pixels in. So it's not like there. And then there's chat, because that's cool. Okay. Also, I need to turn the fan on because it gets hot in here when I close the door. Nice, I'm glad to hear. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, we are back. I'm a little bit too tall for the camera today. I'm sitting on my foot. I have a bad habit of sitting on my foot. You watch, I'll like move it later on and I'll just fall back down on the frame. Oop. The camera is very precariously placed. It all just works. It's the system, it's together, it's here. But one wrong move and things start to fall. I don't know if anyone else is like that. It's a nightmare. It is an absolute nightmare. So I'm just setting up my monitor. Oh my god, what a couple of days. It has been really intense, to say the least. I guess to finish the story from yesterday, well, not yesterday, the day before. So essentially I streamed on, I think it was Thursday night, right? Streamed on Thursday night. It was pretty sketchy. It was, you know, getting to that point where things were like pretty scary, but, you know, not like I'd never seen, you know, nothing like I'd ever seen before. So that was fine. But then Friday night comes along and I think, this is boring. Like being in a cyclone is kind of boring. Which is good. If it's boring, it means you're surviving, right? So I was like, I might just stream again on Friday night. But then like, it was super sketchy. The window to my left here was rattling a lot and the lights kept flickering and I was worried that it just wouldn't work. So I didn't. And instead I hid in the room across from here because it's a little bit further away from exposed areas. So I figured I'd be a bit safer and just chilled out and watched The Ranking of Kings, which is really good anime. So that was a fun, well, I mean, it was, I don't know if I'd call it fun. It was a good way to spend the time and distract myself from the fact that 100-kilometer winds were flying past my window. It was really crazy. Cool. All right, so we have got a project here that we've been working on Thursday. We were setting up a dash, and essentially I was thinking that we could do like a little bit and just see if we can recreate the dash. That's the first little project that probably won't take more than 30 minutes, maybe an hour. So what I'm going to do, because I want to turn this into a video, is I want to delete that delete the message. The first thing I want to do is sort of like just sort of record like an intro. Basically, I've never seen a cyclone, but I am understanding. Yeah, to be honest, it was only a category 2, and then it got downgraded to a category 1. And I thought when I thought about cyclones, because it was my first one too, I thought it meant like the winds were continuous all the time, but it wasn't. It like came and went, which I guess makes more sense now that I think about it. So like you would just sit there and then there'd be nothing, and then there'd just be like a massive wind and everything would rattle, and the patio outside would be like vibrating, barely holding on. So yeah, it was all right. So yeah, what was I saying? I think I'm going to try to turn this into a video, so you guys will have to bear with me while I record this. I just don't know how to present it, so like maybe I just don't have it. Let me think for a second. How does this go? I am going to try to recreate the dash from Celeste. So here's what I'll do. I guess I'll switch to this camera because it's better, and then I'll record a little bit, and then we'll go from there. And then I don't know how I'm going to do it. Okay, so here we go. I'll start telling a story. So a couple of days ago, a Patreon member reached out to me and asked for access to a very old project that I made a video on. You may or may not remember it. It was called Parallel Worlds. To be honest, the video didn't do that well, but it was a fun project to make, and it's something that I've always been really fascinated by, which is two worlds, being meshed onto one. In fact, the game that I want to make is a first-person version of that. I'm still working on that, so I haven't really shared anything about it. But that user reached out and asked for a copy of that game. Unfortunately, it's super old, so I had to recreate it. And we started off by just working on a brand new 2D character controller, because I have a 2D character controller that you can download. I think it might be on my website. I don't know, but it's old and it's not very good. And I thought we could do better, because I've been working on the third-person course and it's been doing really good, like in terms of the code completion that's on that, which is, and it's been, I should really say something more like, and the third-person controller has been really good for improving the neatness of the code that I've been writing. So I figured while I do this, I should recreate the 2D character controller with like a brand new finite state machine, something that can be really good. And we made really good progress on that, but we came across the dash. And to be honest, I've never really done much with dashes. Dashes have always just been like, give it a speed, 300, give it a time, 0.1 second, go. And it'll work, and it looks a little bit jank, but it's enough. Most people won't question it. But like if you're really designing a 2D platformer, you probably need to put in a little bit more effort. And so I thought it'd be a good time to try and copy or like do a study on the dash from Celeste and see if we can come up with a way that we can create that in Godot. How's it going, Milou? I'm telling a story about what happened on Thursday, what we worked on Thursday. So this dash is something that I thought we could do better with, and essentially what we came down to working out was that it's a little bit like a jump. At the end of the day, a dash is just a jump. And if you multiply your distance, or its velocity equals distance over time, right? I almost forgot the equation. So the way that you need to think about it is it's almost like a trinity of different variables. You've got how fast you go, how far you go, and how quickly you do all that in. And you can sort of have control over these 3 variables, and you can leave 1 or 2 up to chance, right? So you can define velocity and you can define time and let the distance work it itself out. Or as I like to do, I like to define the distance. I like to define the time that you spend doing that, because those 2 things matter to like how the game looks and feels. And then the velocity, which is how fast you do something in, is just left up to the machine. And so if you say that you want to do a dash in 0.5 seconds that covers like 128 pixels, then that's really easy to do. And I'd done that for jump. I've been doing that for jump for ages. And it took me until today, or until Thursday, to work out that you can just do that for dash as well. Obviously there's a little bit more work involved in terms of like how to animate it, but I thought as well it would be good to study Celeste and see if we can recreate that, because that has like a lot of different elements that are really cool and can be a little bit elusive, I think. So I have a clip that we might be able to play if I can find it. Thumbnails, no, stream media, video projects, Twitch, right? Twitch clips. Man, where is it? I lose everything when I switch back to Windows. Celeste, here we go, long clip. Okay, so I need to open up the video editor because it's really easy to see. Let's see if I can do this. Do it live. Oh, is it gonna do it? I actually don't know. Yes, black screen. I guess the camera's on me, so that's fine. Okay. Oh, this is like the actual. Never mind that. Celeste long clip. Drag that in. Okay. Okay. Let me just get back to OBS so I can see what the heck I'm doing. Okay, I'm here. We need this screen. That's probably better. And so what we can do is just look at how Celeste sort of behaves. And it was really good to actually do this and sort of look at it at a frame by frame basis. And you can sort of tell, this is when I first hit the sprint key, right? So the animation starts. There's like a lead in. Let me just pause the music because there's going to be overlap. So you've got 1, 2, 3, right? So there's 3 frames, and then, or 2 frames really. Is that really down? 3 frames, and then she's moving. I believe it's 0.5 seconds. Although now that I'm looking at it, it doesn't look like it. Oh, this is not a 60 FPS. That's why it's weird or different. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, from my notes, it was 0.5 seconds, right? So you've got a 0.05 seconds where there's nothing happening, right? And then she goes, and that's fairly easy. That's just visual effects. And the total sprint before the animation ends is 0.24 seconds. So it's really quick. So you don't really even, it's over really fast. And you cover that distance. And I think we can do this pretty easily. I don't have the animations, or the visual effects, but we can at least get the feel, which will be pretty interesting. Maybe we can find a way to make it look good. So let's see if we can recreate this. I think we can, but I guess we'll find out. I'll just close this. Do not save. All right, so we got a guy here. Let's see where we're at. We'll pop this code out. So the code that we eventually landed on last time we were on stream was pretty straightforward. We're essentially going into a state. This is a state machine, and we just, as soon as we enter a thing called dash. Obviously, we get the direction. It's called set direction, but we're like setting the direction of the input. We're basically grabbing that down and figuring out where the player is pointing, and then we're just going input multiplied by the dash velocity, and that works pretty well. And now it's mostly just down to like defining the other thing, which is the pause, right? So we're going to probably need to change this, because once we enter the state, we need to probably count down 0.05 seconds. And then after 0.05 seconds, move into the next stage, which is like the actual movement. And I think we do that by code. You could do it with animation player as well. Would be easier, but because we're using a state machine, it's a little bit harder to control that way. And the animations will actually be pretty tricky because it's all completely decentralized. But now that I think about it, I think we can do this, right? So we got that, and then there's like a whole bunch of other stuff that like goes around this. Okay, so let's look at the animation first. We have got a dash animation, right? Which is just the character flying with wind going past them, right? It's 0.8 seconds. It's longer than it needs to be, which is good. But we need something that goes before that, like the pre-dash. We call it the pre-dash. I think we can find something within this set of animations. We'll probably just use the jump or the fall animation. Or, you know, those frames to sort of make it look like he's doing something. So let's have a look. Wow, that's really hard to browse. Why is it like that? Here we go. So we've got that. Should we use like a punch? Could we use like 1, 2, 3 frames? That might look a little bit strange. 1, 2, 3. And then he goes into the dash. Nah, he looks like he's striking. That won't work. We do have sprint. We're not using that. No, we are. Okay. This is probably where I would start. Yeah, we can start with like the landing. Like go here, pre-dash, create. We don't need, it's 0.05 seconds. So that's literally here. Like the amount of frames we need is nothing. All right, I forgot to unpause the music. I was like, it's kind of quiet in here. Need something. So we normally do it on 0.1 is the scale. Go to the next one. Probably not that. Okay, 2 frames is enough. It's 0.2 seconds. 0.2. It doesn't even have to be like... Maybe they'll like reverse them maybe. Getting ready to dash like in races, bent before start. Yeah. I reckon reverse these frames. So... Why is it not? My keyboard's weird. Like this is what he's going to do. And then he'll like go to the dash. It probably won't even be noticeable. But we'll just go with that for now. So we've got the pre-dash animation. So in code, how does this look? I think it's going to be like... So when we enter dash, we don't need the dash, right? That doesn't need to happen yet. And then we've got dash duration. So there's a couple of different stages of this, and we're going to need to break this down. Also, calculate velocity. I want to do something different with that because that involves like a slowdown, and I don't want to slow down, right? So we're going to write a custom script, I think, for the velocity, right? So we've got basically what happens in the state input here is that we're just essentially we are just counting down. That's it. We just got the dash duration, right? And so I guess we need to go to the player movement stats and add a pre-dash duration and dash duration. And so we can go to the, tell me it's not in here. Player state machine, player stats, player stats. There you go. We got dash duration, and we'll create another one here. We'll call it pre-dash duration. It's a float, and it is going to be very short. So 0.0, what did I say, 5? Very short. And now the dash duration, we worked out that it was what, 0.2 seconds? 0.25 seconds? I might need to refer back to it. Yeah, I think it was 0.25 seconds. So it's very quick. And now that'll mean that like there's a really fast velocity here. Okay, so we'll save that. We've got dash duration, dash distance, and pre-dash duration. So for the dash velocity, the duration needs to be both of these variables, dash duration and pre-dash duration. So we need to go back to the motion script, which calculates this in advance so we don't have to do it in the moment. So we've got the dash velocity being, let's make this a little bit more, I don't know if that's readable for you guys, probably not. Actually, now that I'll look at the viewport, it'll just have to be big, so it's a little bit easier for you guys to see. So it can be a bit confusing when you look at it like this though. We've got get dash velocity, player movement stats, dash distance, player movement stats, dash duration, plus player movement stats dot pre-dash duration. That's pretty easy. Okay, so we've got both of those together. That's the total duration of the dash. That's not right, actually. Don't include the pre-dash because the pre-dash, there's no movement. So we don't really want that in the velocity. My bad. Got a little bit ahead of myself. We don't actually need to include that. So that's all fine then. We can come back to the dash. And then we've got another variable called pre-dash, right? We basically recreate these here so that we can store them in the instance and subtract them as we go. Pre-dash duration. It's going to be a float. And it's going to be equal to player movement stats dot pre-dash duration, right? And we set them on exit, so we need to reset this on exit as well. Okay, so in the it's not happy because I'm doing that. Right. In the sorry, I'm just checking on something. Okay, so in the state update, we are going to want to count down the pre-dash duration. Then once that's done, we go to the dash and we call dash, right? So we basically need a couple of triggers. And we also need to update the state animation, but that's okay. We'll also have an export variable here for the pre-dash animation. Because we don't really have access. Basically how we do that is, actually this needs to be the dash animation. Hit save on that. And so inbuilt into this is already an on enter animation. This actually needs to be pre-dash, right? Because that's where you want to go first. Okay, we'll save that. And then the dash animation, we can write in here, is just called dash, I believe. Right? Dash. Okay, that's set up now. We can go back to the script, and on enter, we basically we don't really need to do anything on the enter, but we do need to start counting down. So we're going to enter that animation automatically. That's already built into the state machine. And then we need to start counting down. So I guess we do that with a variable. We can have like a true, a false, that kind of thing. Or we can say if pre-dash duration is greater than 0, then we need to subtract the pre-dash duration minus equals delta. And there's nothing else to do here. We've started the animation and we're counting down. And then we can say else pre-dash duration is greater than 0. Else we can say on enter animation. No. Animation change requested dot emit, and we go to the dash animation. So that'll change our animation over. And then we need to dash. Dash. However, we don't want to continuously call this, and that's what this will do. So if we are counting down and then we hit 0, then we will automatically go to this, but it'll just keep pumping that. So I forget the pattern. Why would I forget the pattern? I have like a specifically, I made like a video about this a month ago. Did I do it? I did it in a different flip. Gonna have to go watch my own tutorial. Hilarious. I don't even think it comes up. Timer versus delta Godot. That's what I would search. Ah, look, hey, it's me. I come up for the like very rare. Okay, hang on. Here we go. Delta timer. I forget my own code.
Into downward quokka.
You got HBF Flex 50 extras?
Yeah, I split my limit half
Fucking
physio,
ad,
half
eh?
general dental.
Ridiculous.
Full gyro for me. Yep.
Split your extras limit your way across a range of services.
Oh, come on. I'm switching this to false. So annoying. But click of his quite a bit. So pretty straight. Give me this. Okay. Count. Oh, it is just, I just do it with the variables. Countdown complete. True. Okay. Well, I'll do it that way then. I thought I had come up with something fancier. I guess I haven't. How's the audio on your end? I'm getting sus. Dunno. Wait, this is not connected? Oh my god. Never set up properly. Oh no, it's okay. Yeah. It says something wrong with YouTube. Seems kind of sus. Okay. So, animation change request. I guess we're just going to do with this with variables, so we can just go var pre dash completed. Oh my god. H completed. Bool, and it's going to be equal to false. I'm going to need to create a function to reset all these variables every single time. Okay, so then once this is done, we can go pre-dash completed equals true. And once pre-dash is completed, basically here we go elif pre-dash completed is equal to false. So we just do the thing one time, right? We set it to true right here. We do the animation change request, and then we start. So then we can say if pre-dash completed, dash duration, like that. And so then we'll start counting down, which will be good. And we're going to do the dash here, which works fine. We call that once, velocity and dash duration. And now we need to look at calculate velocity. So I was basically sending that out. I think I can just, this might, we're just going to do update velocity on velocity updated. Is it velocity? What's the name of the signal? Velocity updated dot emit velocity. So rather than calling this function, which involves deceleration and delta for the calculation of the movement speed, we're just going to emit that number. So we're going to move at a constant rate. We're not going to include frame control, which is, that might be a mistake. We'll have to look at how that behaves at different frame rates. Because like typically you just go velocity times speed. Obviously you include delta in that calculation, but we're not going to do that. So that's something. Yeah, I need to think about that. Velocity plus equals minus equals. I mean, even for the jump, you do the same thing. Yeah, we'll be all right. She'll be right, mate. Famous last words. Okay. So now that that's done, we can just take the other thing that I wanted to address is the X and Y clamps. So the Y clamp was basically just like at the end of it, set it to 0, but I actually think it should be just clamped to jump velocity, right? So it can either be velocity.y and or jump velocity. And it needs one more thing. Max, oh, I've got this around the wrong way. It's got to be 0 and then jump velocity, right? So if you're just going jump velocity, I don't know how much this will be. So it'll get basically turned down to jump velocity once it exits the, and I don't know, like maybe we'll get rid of that. Maybe we'll make it 0 like it was. I'm not too sure. We'll see how that feels. Okay, I think everything's in place. I don't know. We're about to find out. I wanted to look at the keys as well, so let's have a look at the keys. Input map. I had it to F, but I want to just recreate the Celeste number layout. So this is still dash, shift. I actually think it should be like X, K, and then the WASD. So we would go like up, down, right, left, up, and then down is down. Cool. And then space is still jump. That's fine. I believe it's C in Celeste. We'll just make that. Okay. Moment of truth. I don't know if any of this is going to work. Let's just test it out. Wrong key. That's funny to see. What are the errors? Dash calling signal velocity updated to callable character body 2D. It requires more variables. Okay, so that's why we didn't go anywhere. That signal emission was incorrect, which is fine. We can work on that. So basically it requires the input direction, which is fine. We just need to supply that in this here. Otherwise it doesn't work. All right, and then on the exit, we need to reset all of these. We have to reset the pre-dash, right? Pre-dash complete is equal to false. Okay. And what else? This seemed like the wrong way around, or I don't know. I'm gonna make it 0, and while we get everything else working. That was kind of weird. It does a jump at the end of it. Okay. Okay. It's very quick. Did I get like the timing wrong on that? Or maybe the distance is shorter. That could be a factor as well, right? Because I've made mine 128 pixels. Mine is also 64 by 64. So like the tile size is way bigger. To me, it feels like the right amount when it comes to like how far Celeste travels on the screen. You know what I'm saying? We should embed this. It looks a lot better when I do that. Okay. So what am I thinking? It's very quick. I want to see it go a little bit slower just so I can make sure that everything's working. So I can go to the stats and I can make the pre-dash duration. And hey games, welcome to the stream. How's it going? The dash duration is 0.1. That might have something to do with it. Let's make it 0.25. I want to see this for a second. So let me just make this longer than it needs to be. Make it 0.1, which is really long. So let's run this again. Okay, I'm changing my mind about like whether or not I want this to be like in or out. I kind of like it better when it floats. It's bigger. Okay. Huh. It only did it once. I think I'm resetting the variables wrong, right? There's something wrong here. Am I crazy? I'm barely seeing that. Yeah, maybe. Can we make it like even longer? I'm skeptical this is even happening. Okay. Whoa, okay. That's an interesting effect. It's definitely... He's doing the movement, which surprisingly works really well, by the way. But he still moves, which is really funny because I guess like the velocity... I'm trying to think like how this all goes together. Because at that point, we're not emitting... we're not emitting the motion, right? Like we're not updating the velocity. Why would it be moving? Like what is actually sending the character forward? Is it just that velocity is set? Is that what it could be? Like if I go to the player script, so we're just setting the velocity from the state machine. That's it. And then it's move and slide. So either we're receiving information after the fact, or because there is no like slowdown. There's no deceleration. The character's just moving at that velocity. I didn't realize it worked that way. Let's get rid of these. Oh, what am I printing? I'm printing velocity. Of course I am. I think the answer is yes. It just keeps receiving that information. Right? And then it goes up to 512 and then it does its thing. Okay. Just woke up from cool 12 hours sleep. It is like bad in good, I guess. How's the weather? It's like bad and good. Nice. Yeah, the weather's a lot better than it was yesterday. Yesterday it was scary as hell, my friend. But now it's pretty good. I'm not... The window next to me was like shaking. Even on Thursday, when I was streaming Thursday, the window was shaking and it was like really scary. And then on Friday, I was like, oh, I don't want to sit next to this thing, you know? Something's going to come through. And I was also like, I didn't think this stream would make it. I thought I'd lose power for sure. But I didn't. And we're still going, which is great. Okie dokie. So we've established that these all work, but we need to... Okay, so the other thing, yeah, that's right. We're doing the speed because the speed doesn't get discontinued when we enter dash. So we probably need to like set the velocity to 0. Do we want to do that? I don't know. This was only a problem until I slowed it down. Do you do that? I don't know. I think you do. I think we're going to do that. We're going to set velocity.emit. No. What is it? Velocity updated. Why can't I type? .emit vector2 .0. And we might as well do... No, we don't want to do that. We might as well just do like input. We'll send off the input. That's fine. Did the cyclone cause much damage in the area? Yeah. There's like trees down and all sorts of stuff. I like saved a bunch of stuff. I don't know if I can get to it on this computer. I had a bunch of stuff saved on Instagram where it was just like crazy shit that I've been seeing online. How do I even see what I've saved? Tag saved. Oh yeah, this is probably a really good demonstration. I can bring this over. I don't know what the audio will be like, so be prepared. Oh, it's off. That was, I don't actually know where it is. It's in my city somewhere. I don't recognize the street. And they're just swearing like Australians.
Fuck! Fucking hell!
Classic.
Jesus, fuck!
And then there's people in the comments from the northern part of where I live. So like in Queensland, if you live up north, cyclones are more common. And so everyone from like the northern part of the state is like, oh, it's just a category 2 cyclone. Don't worry about it. To be fair, it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it was still fucking scary. So yeah, it was just like that. And there's like a bunch of trees down. It's hard to show because it's mostly on Facebook and I can't really show you guys that. Maybe I can like screenshot it without actually showing it on screen, if that makes sense. Let's look for something good. Anonymous participant. It's mostly just like roofs coming off, you know, just stuff like that. Oh, here we go. This is a good one. Let me just get the screenshot tool out, the snipper, so I don't like accidentally leak my Facebook. There you go. It's a lot of that. Mostly trees. Trees falling on people's houses, trees falling in the streets. Just trees. because there's trees everywhere. Oh, actually, there was one where it like crashed through someone's house. I don't know if I sent that to my friends. It was crazy. No, I didn't save it, but it was wild to see. Yeah, so a lot of people without power. So the biggest thing, like, I don't know if there was that much destruction to people's houses, but the big thing was like power loss. So they said that 330,000 people lost power, are without power right now. I'm one of the lucky ones. 330,000 people, to give you an idea, that's like more than half the city, you know? The population is about 700,000, I think. It could be a little bit more. No, a little bit less, I should say. Natural selection of tree strength. Yeah, literally. So all the trees in my street are still standing. I'm incredibly lucky. But yeah, the power is the big issue. And apparently it's going to keep raining and they're worried about flooding. So fortunately for me, I'm on high ground, so I will be okay. Snoring doggo. Okay, so pre-dash emit, dash emit. Okay, I think we what were we doing? I've forgotten. We were looking at the speed. Okay, so we reset the speed now. So essentially, we should come to a complete halt when we enter this state. It'll be very short. Like obviously, right now it's really exaggerated. Can I enter this in? Yeah, I can. So like, yeah, now that when you enter it, I think that'll feel good when you jump and you dash, right? Okay, so let's look at the timings on this. So I don't know about the timing. So I originally said 0.05 for the pre-dash, and then the dash duration was 0.25 seconds. I might need to pull that back up because it doesn't feel quite right. I don't know, actually. Maybe it's pretty good. And I really would like to keep some upward momentum. And then the other thing we have to look at is maybe rotation. I don't know. Because it looks weird, obviously, when he just goes like that. The thing is, the animation that I've got for it isn't the best. So we might just leave that. Okay, so that's dash. Realistically, like, what else did I say that needs to be done? Yeah, the velocity. Is that kind of bothers me that it doesn't keep going. So the problem is, I feel like if you don't clamp it, it's going to look weird, but let's have a look and see how that feels. Because I can tell, maybe it doesn't show up on camera, but I can tell, see how he just keeps going for ages? It just takes... What if I took the roof off? How far would he go? Let's just take the roof off. Pretty far. That's what I want it to feel like, though. Maybe I need to change the upward velocity. Like the left and right feels really good, but the upward velocity is just like way too high. It's funny because it's the same distance as a jump. Half the Y velocity, yeah. Do you mean on exit or do you just mean in general? To be honest, it should just be the jump velocity. The upward, the Y velocity should be the jump velocity because it is. Oh. Or we apply gravity. Does there No, we don't do that. Doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to think. I might need to like run Celeste to see how it feels. There's definitely no gravity, right? When you play that game? Well, what do we do? So I've got the clamp here. I think we just need to get like a more complicated clamp. Because I was just saying like, yeah, 0, but what we want is that like feeling of gravity, which is really nice. When you are in the dash state, half the Y velocity. Yeah, because it's going to be, you have to account for gravity. So actually we can calculate that, right? If I think about it, hang on a second, let's go back to the player state machine. No, the player state machine, player stats. So the jump velocity is the gravity times time to jump apex. Ultimately, we want gravity to also take us to a certain height. But like obviously you keep going. So like the jump velocity, we could include, no, because then it would be even higher. But I guess the question is like, if we had a certain velocity, how long would we do it for the Y before we start applying gravity? If that makes sense. So like, for this to feel good, go. This is gonna be like way too big, right? So like when we go up, like we need to cut it off and start applying gravity at a certain point in order for us to still get to our 128. So could we delay the gravity, like start applying gravity at some point to the Y? Earlier than, say, the entire duration of the dash. Or we create one and we apply gravity the entire time, but we give it enough force so that it can reach that at that time. Or we try like you said and just halve it. Let's start with that. I think we'll see what that feels like. So we go if velocity, okay, so we can say velocity x equals dash velocity dot x, right? And then velocity dot y equals, we should say input dot y. I'm surprised it didn't bug out on us. Input dot the x, and then input the dot y equals dash velocity dot y. Yeah, we basically do. What is it? Can't my in base float? Dash velocity is a float. And then this divided by 2. Okay. Yeah, there is no gravity in the dash state, so I mean, it is kind of the right height. Like, it almost works. It just feels really slow. So you can jump higher than you can boost, right? I feel like that's a mistake. Pretty similar, to be honest. I need like a measuring sprite. I guess we could do it with, we have another tile map. With another terrain, so we could do like inverted. Help me understand how high we get. So this one, we get four high. It's the same. It's just really slow. Divide by 1.5. What did I do divided by 2? I mean, it's the right distance, so that's something. How does that work? I can't even mathematically fathom that. Dash velocity divided by 2. With no clamping. So if it's just dash velocity, and then we do clamping, we do go further. We go 1 extra. I need to change the tile map. Sus. It's a bit sus. It's not quite exactly what I'm looking for. It's good, but it's not exactly... The dash time shorter? Yeah. Well... Is that right? Like, I'm not going as high diagonally. And we also need to, like, add a jump into this. I need to think about the math on that. Which is, I don't like thinking. Super annoying. Okay. Velocity Y, and then... Because that is actually a really good question that you bring up. Like, what happens if I change the duration of this? Like, make the dash time shorter. Like, just make it 0.2 seconds. We definitely go higher. Also, I want to... There's a setting in the collision shape where if you hit the ceiling, you just come back down, right? Up on slope, constant speed, max angle, block on. Why does it seem so far away from me? I like change the angle of my screens. Hang on a second. I'm gonna have to bust out the glasses. I can't see that far away. Oh my goodness. Much better. Slide on ceiling. If I turn that off, do I just come down? No. I have a way of dealing with that. I can't remember. We'll look at that later. Anyway, that's the dash. The other thing is the jumping in the dash, right? You should be able to jump during the dash and get like a boost. So, what do? We can take input. We can say if event dot is action pressed jump and pre-dash completed. We don't want to be able to jump during the pre-dash. Then we can finish.emit jump. Oh. Save. Okay, so we can jump, but typically in games like Celeste, you get like the speed boost from that. So I'm currently doing all of this stuff in the exit, which means it's going to get called no matter what. And that is the clamping as well. So we can probably, the easiest way to do this is just go dash jump as a bool is equal to false. We set it to true here. Dash jump equals true. And if dash jump is true, if dash jump, really, it's going to be if not dash jump, then we clamp velocity so you don't go sliding along the ground. You just sort of go back to normal speed. Other than that, you're going to go flying, I think. So this is the regular one. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. Not what I was expecting. At all. $640. You slow down really quick. Is that just the deceleration? In the dash? So 140, 640, and then dun, 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 in 3 ticks you're already down because I guess acceleration is really that big. Right? That's got to be like a part of it. So, which is weird because you would think that I'm pretty sure in jump I'm passing the in-air acceleration, which is really high. In-air acceleration is only 500, which is quite low. Make it even lower. Hang on a second. That doesn't feel right at all. I shouldn't be able to change directions that quickly. I think there's a problem with this state machine. Okay, let's stop this print. We need a UI to tell us the state. Control. Let's go. Oh, we are in 2D. Blech. It's like a VBox container. Why is it so big? Oh, I guess the resolution is really small, eh? so annoying. What do? I do like a viewport container with a higher resolution? Something like that? What does that look like on screen? That looks fine. Why does it look like that? Is this to do with stretching? Who knows? Who cares? Okay, so state label. Okay, state machine, yada yada yada. We add a script here called the state label. That's enough. The state machine actually has the ability to emit that, or it had in previous iterations. That's not what I want. Player stats. Player state machine. State machine. Start state, state map, signal. There is no signal. Okay. State changed. Is that okay to use? Change state, finished, dot emit. That's like a different thing. So state changed and then state. It's a state, I guess. We can pass that on, that's fine. Change filter mode on the label to point. Filter mode on the label to point filter. Is this in the visibility? Is this what you're talking about? Filter? I think layout. I'm so dumb. I don't know if whatever justification. Anyway. State machine now can signal the state change. We connect it to that. We just go set text. And we are just going to go state and plus state dot name. Oh, you know, work. Oh, I never actually set up where to emit the signal. State machine, state changed. Current state here, we go, actually let's just do it at the end. State changed dot emit current state. I got the right one, cool. Okay. We are going into jump and staying in jump. I was a bit suspect that we were going into... Oh, is there like a problem with the code then? Like in jump, am I just passing in the wrong... Yeah, the wrong acceleration. Absolutely silly. In-air acceleration, oh my god. That should make things change drastically. Look at that. Massive difference in the jump. When you like dash jump, you go flying. You also can't change your movement because I made the acceleration 50 versus the regular acceleration is 10,000. Get 500. We gotta balance that. I feel like that's kind of fair. You can just play around with like how far you want to go based on that. What does fall use? Does fall use the same acceleration? In their acceleration in fall? So I got it right for fall, but not for jump. That's hilarious. Let's just up this to 1,000. It's still Way lower than the actual. I think I like it better at 500. The question is, what does the jump feel like in Celeste? I actually don't know. Because this is like a pretty dull jump. Like when you try to change directions. Okay, what the heck? There we go. Like when you try to change directions when you jump, that does not feel very responsive. And I feel like it should, except for when you do a dash jump. So perhaps we can play around with like input detection and say like, oh, if the input is changed, then, you know, change the... Also, this is like kind of annoying to be here. I think the reason it looks like that is because I didn't stick it. I need to stick it on canvas layer. Because the canvas is really big. And this is just on the player. That's an interesting change. That wasn't like that in what's it called? 3.5. Where's the option for full screen? What the heck? Am I crazy? That's it there. Oh yeah, okay. So now it just appears in the top right hand corner. That's much more readable. Okay. Do we do something like that? We do like a jump. Do we detect the input? We just leave it. It's good enough. I need to check on the reference material. What is their jump? What does Celeste's jump feel like? I installed it the other day on this machine. Here it is here. This one here. No, that's still not it. Oh, yes. Z on the sprite. By the input dirt. Yes, I do. And I guess that was intended. I don't actually know if that's the right way to do it. It's been a long time since I've done 2D. I was like, yep, that works. It's not on the right screen. Where is it? Oh, it is on the right. What the heck is going on? There it is. It's still not the correct layout. I think it is this. What is it? Where is it? There it is. That's the one I like to use when I'm gaming. To be honest, there is actually not a lot of responsiveness when you jump. You can get back to where you started, not any further. Definitely can't when you do a boost. I see audio levels like, it's pretty high, eh? Buttons. Okay. So if I jump to here, I get to there. And there's definitely like deceleration. You cannot get back to where you came from. You know what I'm saying? How do you do the dash jump? There it is. Because I actually don't know where I'm going. Guess I gotta go over there. Like a pro. I don't know the buttons. I played on, I promise I'm good at this game, guys. That one. There it is there. Anyway. So, yes. The answer is yes. Acceleration, deceleration, all that kind of stuff is a factor there. And it's not super responsive when you jump. So I think I'm getting the right kind of feel. So this is, however, like way more deceleration. And I need to like get more reference. See this? I need more of this. So I can see how far I'm getting. This is my makeshift pattern. To be able to tell like how things are. Okay. Yeah, okay. That's not exactly the same. There needs to be a little bit of more deceleration. I don't think I'm going to be able to perfectly recreate that because I feel like there's a lot going into that because it's very clear that there's more acceleration when you are moving in a forward direction versus when you change directions, there's a lot of deceleration, which is like difficult. Is the same in that game? Maybe. Yeah. Hard to say. I feel like there was a lot of different like things that were going on in that because I feel if you change directions in the air, it definitely felt a certain kind of way versus on the ground it felt like instant. So we'll go to the jump. I don't really care to get into all of that. It's too hard. But this, I think this does need to come up, like. Okay. And then I end up back in the same spot, which is about what I was experiencing there. And then the jump still feels like a dash jump versus like a regular jump. You know what I'm saying? So if I jump here, I'll get like my 4 spaces. But if I do this, I get way further, which is pretty much exactly what we're going for. Okay, there was one other bug that I wanted to address, which was if you are in idle, this is pretty funny, if you're pressing any kind of input, the character starts doing the run animation, which is not correct. Like, we don't want that. So, we can change that pretty easily, I think. When we go to run, we are just like entering that info animation. Number one, you shouldn't really enter into run when you press up or down because you're still idle. It doesn't do anything. So let's pop this back out. I'm just saying if vector 2 is not equal to 0. So what I really need to check is if input.x is equal to 0. We don't care about y. We just care about x. We don't go to run otherwise. So that should solve that problem. Yeah, okay. That's an interesting one too. If you press up, you go slower. I'm not normalizing the input. Or I am, and I don't need to be. Look at the bottom where the velocity goes down to like 113. That you don't really want that, especially in a 2D game. It's just not necessary. So I don't know how I'm doing the input here. Well, you know what it is? When I get the input, I'm getting a vector 2 based on the Y and the up and the down. I don't really need to do that, right? Like that's actually, for a platformer, not really what you want to do. I really need to like figure out zones on how do you move windows? Oh, there you go. There you go. So let me just see if I can figure this out. Oh, they're still not like... I need to figure out windowing on windows so that I can get them to behave so that they just instantly go to this spot. And if they don't, I can have a hotkey that gets them there. So I'm getting the vector left, right, up, down. I don't even know, aside from the boost. My glasses uneven, what the heck? Looks a bit strange, eh? I don't really even think I need to get up versus down. Like, I just need to know the horizontal direction most of the time. I guess like we need a separate function so we can have like all of the vectors or do we combine them? I'm trying to think. Input.get vector. Do we separate them? Let's separate them, left or right. So, what is that? Get vector requires like x, y, positive y, right. Is there one just for 2? Input. Get joy info, get joy access, get access, negative action, positive action. There we go, get access. Get action strength. This is shorthand writing positive action, get action strength, negative action. Okay, so this is what we need to use rather than get vector. Get access left, right. And since we are doing a float, we just want to do .x and input .y is equal to input.getAccess.
The funny thing is you start stream as soon as my phone goes into do not disturb.
Can't be helped. Sorry about that. Up and then down. I can spell. Okay, so we've got left, right, up, down. And that should give us a continuous 0 and 1, right? Even if I'm pressing up, it doesn't change anything. But it probably will change how the... I think I'm okay with that. Like, it's not normalized, whatever. Wait, hang on a second. Which is further? Like, if we do like a horizontal dash, we get to sort of about the middle. So far. It's a little bit further. That's literally the same. Is it? Dunno. Yeah. Okay, cool. We have a dash. Probably still needs a little bit of work, but it's a lot better. It's a lot better.
You're really going to make me dig through my settings to find it just to change it for you?
Well, I mean, if you just check, then you know I'm live, and then you don't even have to worry about it, right? Like if you've come on Twitch, just leave it as do not disturb, right? I don't know, bro. You know I don't have regular times. I just do whatever. Interesting. Okay. Alright, so we've done that. That's sort of like the state machine complete. The dash is... it's okay. It's not amazing, but like it works a lot better than it did the other day. I still know the pre-dash is like kind of slow.
Well, I usually go to bed at 10 and I had do not disturb at 7, so I could change it to 8. That would work.
I mean, but I might not stream for like another 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Okay. I think I ended up going live late because it's 9:30. I've been going for an hour and a half. Yeah, it's better than what it was last time. I still think we could probably improve it, but we'll worry about that later. It's time to move on to the other aspect of this, which is the second world. Which is, I think, going to be pretty easy. Because I have like a fairly good way of dealing with that. So yeah, we've got world 1, world 2, we've got the 2 tile maps, they're all set up. It's just a matter of transitioning between them and then doing the...
Yes, but there is one guy. I do watch when you're not live, which starts about the same time.
Ah. Alright. Alright. 2 worlds. It was really just a matter of layers. It's all layers. So like I've got this visual trick that I showed off in a really old video, which I can pull up. I don't know if we'll have the shader, but we'll get everything working up till that point pretty easily. Really old video, oh my god. Three years ago. But it must have been when I actually put effort into my production. I'm surprised at any of ideas. Plethora.
Are you going to add jiggle to your game?
No jiggle. So basically it looks like this. I'm gonna mute this, I don't really care what I'm saying. And then you can change it, and then you're in a different place. And it's instantaneous because they're both on top of each other. And you're really just changing the layers that your player interacts with. That's literally it. And then you have to do a little bit of checking to make sure that you're not going to end up inside an object. Other than that, there's nothing really to it. So, achievable, 100%. Oh look, I'm like spruiking my Skillshare courses, which you can still... I don't know if you can get to this one, but there's others. Okay. But we can do it better, I think, this time. Because you know, we've improved a lot in those 3 years, as you do. And I don't know if I have available the project that I have been working on in the 3D, because I think that lives on the personal computer. Stream media, development projects.
I don't know with Discord, I had a stroke, and I had 0 millisecond delay. No, it couldn't have, because we started a new call a bit later and it did it again, so I don't know.
If and when you add hurting stuff to kill the player, I can recommend the way Brackies does it. I should check it out, because I do it like you just add like a node. I mean, in 2D, it's actually funny because like I haven't really thought about it. Like with the bullets, they just carry their own damage, and it's all like within that packet, so that the player is in control of like what damage it does to enemies, and vice versa, right? Games. I don't know where I would keep this. Yeah, I don't think I've got it. Unless I've got a version of it on this PC. Godot FPS Pro, third person shooter, Godot test project. No, I don't. FPS game project, Eldritch Titan. That's definitely old. Enemy AI template.
Let me quickly do a speed test to the Sydney servers and see what my delay is then.
Okay. So we don't know. I can't show off like how I'm doing it these days, and I can't reference it, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. Whoops, clicked the wrong button. Old FPS outlines, TPS Udemy, cool. Maybe I found it. Hang on. Oh, third-person shooter, FPS tutorials, FPS controller, FPS game. It's going to prompt me to update. It's been since 2023, so it's pretty old at this point. About to load script. Oh no. Yeah, I turned up the TTS rewards. There's too many. Disable blend on import, save and request. I only made it 50. It's not that much. No, on Twitch. Is it gonna open? The ultimate test. It's clicking. It's clicking. Oh wow, it's not happy. Broken dependencies. Oh my god. I think it should still work. Let me run it and see what happens. Oh, it's going full screen. Watch out. I don't know what the change... There it is, shift. Okay, yeah, so I'm doing it in this where basically you shift instantly between the two spaces, and things look pretty much the same here. I don't think there's anything different. There was a rock. I don't know if it's in this, but it's mostly just...
How dare you put it up by 5 times than before?
I 5x'd it. Oh, there it is over there. I can see it. There's a rock, and It's not in this one. Basically, you get the idea. Although I don't think in this one, you can just like spawn inside the rock. There's no checking for that. So I never got that far, but essentially this is what we're going for in the 2D space. Think Titanfall. Okay, so I do have this, so I can reference how I've done it here, because I was fairly happy with it here. I'm fairly certain there's a singleton, and what we do is we just sort of switch in between the two spaces. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really happy with the way it looks. I just need to sort of work on some gameplay aspects. Mostly around like how the enemies are going to work. I don't know. We'll get to it at one point. I've got so many projects going on. Player character. So essentially, it looks like this. Oh, that's really not readable. This is what we're going for. We are just going to be like setting the mask, if new world, world manager, overworld, like all this kind of stuff. Which we're getting like overworld true, overworld false. It's just a bunch of going through the different masks and environment variables. We don't need those for 2D. So we don't need camera attributes. We just need to get the color mask value. And then I'm pretty sure in the world manager, we just have a dictionary of the different layers. And basically you just keep this dictionary. And then when you change world, you set it to whatever the world is. And then get world layers. And I think like I'm anything that needs to know what the current world is, which is mostly just players and enemies, right? Gets an update. Get world layers. Like it's just that simple, because realistically all of this illusion just runs on layering and how that works in Godot. So essentially you've got collision layers and you've got visual layers. So having both of those, you can just sort of change them instantly.
The Jurassic Park new.
And so we've got this as a collision layer for the player at the moment, but we could, I think I've made it world 11. So you reserve 10 layers for one world and 10 layers for the other. And you basically just shift over to layer 11. You make the first world invisible to the eye, you make the second world visible, and then when you play the game, you'll be in this new space interacting with it rather than the other one that we were just looking at. So that's really all there is to it. And then you just put some visual overlays to it. So it's a simple effect. We're just going to make sure that we set it up properly so it's easy to work with going forward. And that, I think, is mostly going to be just a group thing. Like, groups work pretty well for this. And probably just disciplined. I think that's going to be... I've got like 1 million Godots open. Close them. Like, it really is just a matter of making sure that you're paying attention to like the right place. Like, if you put something into the world, making sure that you're tagging it correctly. So we can do it with groups. Scene group, global group, and if it is on that group, then it gets set to that layer. Or is it just the player that changes between them, and it's just a matter of like setting these up? Like once it is in the second world, it's like, yeah, it's on that layer, and then we can go to the visual. So we've got obviously that visibility. It's on the visibility layer 11.
At the moment I have at least 15 TTS.
15 TTSs. You gotta make them count, buddy. And so the camera is the key. Right? So right now it can see visibility layer 1. But it can see both. Does it work differently in 2D? Right? Visibility layer 11. So it shouldn't be visible here, but it is. Interesting. Take these off a second. Actually, no, straight up can't just I cannot see the screen, it's too far away. That is actually maybe a little wrinkle in how this needs to be done. The render layer in which the canvas item is rendered on by the viewport. A viewport will render a canvas item if its parents share the viewport's canvas color layer. So is it just a matter of setting this to layer 11? Confused about 2D and how it works in comparison to 3D. It's to do with the canvas layer. So maybe it actually has nothing to do with the camera, the rendering layer in which this canvas item is rendered. So like
TTS, from 1 to 10, how bad is the cycling right now? 10 being destroyed your house and kill your whole family, and 1 being a single drop of rain.
I mean, it's got to be like a 3 because I'm fine. The house is fine. We survived the whole thing. It worked out really, you know, like we are really lucky compared to other people. Like if you look at the map, it's like 300,000 people without power, right? Where's GIMP? So let's just reset this. If you look at the power outages, obviously I can't show you because it would show my address, but there's a website where you can go to check like the power outages, and essentially everywhere around us is all red. There's just a little triangle. And so like all this is like red, 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 and my house is just here. And it's just like, okay. Still have power. Still cruising. I bought a generator for this. Lent it to my parents because they're actually they're out of electricity. So, is this something that happens in the viewport for like 3D? Because in 3D, when the camera is deciding the visibility layer, so if you turn off a visibility layer on a mesh and the camera isn't like told to draw it, it doesn't. But obviously the viewport is what is in control here, which means rather than telling the camera to change what it sees, I need to change the viewport. HD2R, render, forward plus, textures, environment, 2D. Advanced settings, please. Occlusion cutting, textures. There's going to be like layers here somewhere. Lights and shadows. Camera. Viewport. Transparent background. Mesh out. Hang on a second. It's too hard to... Can we add a viewport here so I can just look at it? Canvas cull mask. That's what it is, right? The rendering layers in which this viewport canvas item nodes. So, we need to turn off basically all the second world layers, which I think are 11 plus. Or is it just the one for the visuals? So it's just 11. Okay, so let's try. Number 1, we'll set up a singleton for the world controller script. World controller. And we'll set up some kind of input. I guess we'll make it F. Change. See, I'm doing CX for jumping things, so F.
Because like I said last stream, I said, for you to keep power and no one else, because no one else is important in Brisbane for me, except
that's
for
so
you,
nice
that's
of you.
why you still have power.
Thank you so much. Okay, I made it enter. F. Okay, so change mode is F, right? I meant the Gold Coast. That's okay. It's basically the same thing. The cities just bleed into each other. at the end of the day. Give it a class name, world, controller. How do you spell controller? We'll go with that. We'll do an input, and then we can say if input, if event dot is action pressed, change world, then get, well, let's create a function called change world. All right.
Controller, 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 controller.
Controllerino. Change world. And I guess at the moment, it will take like current world. I'm gonna have to work out how to flip it. But what we can do is we can say get viewport, right? I need to store that. Well, actually, get viewport canvas cull mask is, well, is there like a function for that? Set canvas cull mask, and it wants like a default value. Rendering layers in which the viewport renders the canvas layer. So, and it generally goes backwards for as far as I like remember how this works. So it would be like 0001. You have to go to like 11. I don't know, just like a bunch of zeros. God damn. Canvas cull masks are hard to remember.
Controllers are tasty mo, you give me your controller.
That's kind of weird, bro. Canvas cull masks. Am I doing that right? It feels wrong. Player character, weapon manager. Is this even pre like canvas cull masking? It is. This project is really old. The spicy pies. Bro's being weird in the chat. We want a 2D. Hang on a second. Why do I forget everything? I feel like I've got the worst memory. But at least you saved yourself from like having that being read out as TTS. Like I feel like I do stuff, I forget it, and then
why do I get forgetting TTS?
It's just gone. You know what I'm saying? So this is what a canvas, this is what a color mask looks like. That was a little bit wrong. It's 0B11 or whatever. So ones are like when it's on, and 00 it's off. This is the first one, so the rest all need to be 0 basically. And it would need to cover up to 11, which is super annoying. Wonder if I can find out what it's supposed to look like. Print, get viewport, get canvas cull mask bit. Ah. I want to see what it looks like. Do you guys ever do this? Sometimes you just don't know, so you want to see it before you like actually go manipulating it. It should be all ones.
Very, very tasty.
I know I have to go to the
nom,
project
nom.
settings, and I have to go to the, not the plugins, but the globals, and add a global, which is under Singleton's world controller, add Invalid name must not collide with the... Oh, because I gave it a class name. That's kind of funny when you think about it. Go back to the script. Just like remove that. I don't know. Like... Oh my god, what is that? I don't understand that at all. Yo, what the heck? Get canvas coal mask. And if I set it to that, so right now this should basically disappear because this is set to like visibility layer 11 in theory. Bit value 10, value 1024. Yeah, okay, well it does work. Okay, I guess, yeah. It's a start. The trick is now knowing which one we're on, so we have to keep track of it, basically. So we'll do that with an enumerator. World. What do we call this thing?
The only reason I'm going crazy is because of you and the spicy pillows.
Okay, that I don't understand what that means at all. And then we'll just go world 1. World 2. It's not very inventive. World layer. Current, and then it's just var current world layer. These are meant to be constants. Let's try to keep the standards up. World is starting to like feel strange to me as something to write and say. Okay. So we pass in that. We don't really need to pass it in. We just need to set it.
Are you kidding me, right, meow? You don't know what a spicy pillow is. It is a swollen battery.
Oh. Shouldn't be putting those in your mouth. I never got why people do that, you know? Like people put like batteries in their mouth and stuff. It's so gross, man. I don't know. I've never really been about that. So what we want to do is we want to match the current world layer, and we just match it to world layer dot world 1. Just put past there for a second. Start to recognize it and feel like it's wrong looking. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I'm feeling right now about this. It'd be pretty funny if it turns out I spelled it wrong. Okay, so basically, because we're changing, right? So if we're on world 1, we actually want to change it to world 2. So this actually lives in world 2, and we're going to set the coal mask to that, and then we're going to change the current world layer to be equal to world layer dot world 2, and then for this one, oh, I like literally fucked that up. That goes to world 1. So if the current world layer is number 2, you're going to number 1. So you do this. If it is number 1, you're going to number 2, and I have
Switch
to count.
a stroke and name the page by accident, I guess. Yes, you do. You like the jiggle jiggle, but I'm watching you, not the clip. I am dying.
Okay, so we have to count. So this is 0. Is it 0 or 1? Where do they start from? It's just 1. Bit 0, value 1. Okay. Shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Maybe the wrong one. Something like that. Change this to 0. Hit save. Okay, so fingers crossed. Everything's disappeared. We're back. We're gone. Okay, that wasn't quite right. Bit value 10. I can't count? Is that what it is? Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna keep adding ones until I find the right one.
There's only one kind of battery you can put in your mouth, which is a 9V batteries. It just tingles your tongue a little saying, hey, I'm charged, stop lick me.
Yeah, I think it's really gross when people do that. Wait. I am on the right one. What gives? Why can't I see it?
No, you are on the left one.
And also, why is the player shouldn't be visible either, right? Oh, it's not. Everything disappears? What gives? Very confusing because we start, obviously we can see it, but everything is set to true. So why don't you use the set visibility bit function? Because this will be more easy if I get it right. Because if you basically, I could, but then as the project grows in complexity, you would need to loop through everything. Or like send a signal. Sending a signal is probably easier, but like, or as in like you could get everything in group. That's probably the other option. So basically you just like get everything in group and you'd have to loop through and send it, make it all visible. Or you could do it with this parent node as well, which is perfectly valid. But I think this one's the best one to do it. I'm just not understanding why it's not instantaneous. Okay, what gives? So weird. Why? Okay, that is like, that makes no sense to me. Am I gonna have to set it up so like there's a parent one and then like the one in the two? Is this what it's gonna be like? What? Why the heck is it like that? That seems like not right. Am I misunderstanding something? Why would it behave that way? Is this a setup issue? Visibility layer world 2? Like, is the tile set on a different visibility layer or something? Like, what the hell? What the heck? parent layer. Yeah, well, it's set to 11. It's set to 11. Example world? Is that what it is? Oh my god. This needs to be. In a way, I'm glad to see I'm not the only one getting confused by this. Dude, canvas and viewport stuff is wildly confusing. Okay, so that's the answer. The answer was the example world needs to be on both layers, and then you can just switch between them.
My Unity I was trying to fix near lunchtime, which I gave up. It past tense of keep speech to text says no, it won't giving me a license even though I said, give me a license.
Did you ask it nicely though? And then obviously the player needs to be on both of them as well. This is the collision mask. Okay. Well, we have to go and change the sprite. Okay, so there is like a fair bit of setup in making sure that they remain visible, but now it works, okay? Yeah, CC Cornell, viewport stuff, I don't know what it is. It is so wildly confusing sometimes. I think it is just not well documented. The sprite needs to be on both layers because the player needs to be visible on both, obviously.
Yes, auto times I had it working until Windows last time decided to kill itself. If you remember how I said, oh no, you have put the wrong password in too many times, even though I didn't.
We have to go and redo everything because I did it in the thingo. Okay, 1 and 11 for the parent layer, and then these get set to the, it's actually kind of confusing, holy shit. And then that can be on layer 1, and then the player needs to be on both as well. So let's fix that up. The collision mask, we don't care about that. Visibility, 1 and 11. And the sprite as well, 1 and 11. Let's fingers crossed now. It's working. Okay. Now we work with collisions. The collisions, obviously, it's the player that's in control of that. So you just change the collisions on the player, and then basically we're free. Like, it's just a little simple trick. The rest is all just visual. So I also want to make this this visibility on 11 as well, so that we can take the debug.
Please Unity, please work, or I will meow 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 and so on.
State. We want speed as well. I don't know. Like, I feel like I want to know what the velocity is. I should probably create a controller that's like above all of this. Debug. Actually, let's just go to this because it's called Debug UI. Create. Extends control. And what we need to do is just drag in this. And then we also are going to have one for the world as well, so label, but we'll add that later so that we can just keep track and know what it is without having to constantly print stuff out. And then just remove that script from that. And then bring all 3 of these in. Doesn't work like that. Wish it did, but it doesn't. Okay, and then this had a signal. State change, we disconnect that. We connect it to the UI, debug UI. Let's pop this bad boy out. Okay. This was for a request, so it's okay. That's the only reason I'm doing it in 2D. Text set text. State, which is, what did I say? State, and then plus state dot name. And then the velocity label. Oh, do we get that from the player? Why is it? Actually, that's a really good question. Like, this is a collision, like a kinematic body doesn't have like a signal inbuilt to get information out of it. So I guess it's easier for me to put it on the player. I know that it's like kind of dumb because technically it already exists from this on state velocity updated, but like it's just too much. It's way easier if I just have another one. Velocity changed. Not an export variable. One day I'll get my touch typing down. Not today. Velocity changed. Velocity.
I think Unity is completely broken, unable to reverse license. Please try again. This is popped up multiple times. Meow, I'm going to kill someone.
I think you just need to get like an EPC, man. Like the amount of troubles that you've had, it's like crazy. Velocity, and then we can just go velocity changed. Dot emit velocity. Okay, and then we can just pass that down to the debug UI. Set text, and we'll pass in the velocity. We'll just call it velocity plus, you need to get a debugger node. Is there such a thing? I didn't even know. I just make them myself when I do it. I just do this. I just do it myself. If there is such a node, what is it? I'm confused. I had no idea that that's something you can just get. What does it look like? Is it like an add-on? You have to make it yourself? Well then, isn't that what I'm doing? I'm so confused. Isn't that what this is? I'm dumb. Help. I thought that's what I was doing. Okay. Anyway, I need to go back to the world controller. Show a universal debugger node. Yeah, okay. I guess it would sit like at a higher level rather than on the player. That makes sense. I think I was right the first time. Or was I? I was wrong the first time. There you go. Dude, I really gotta fix that windowing. Alright, that should be fixed up so we're not drawing on 2 layers instead of the 1. Great. Give up at this point. I don't even have a PC laptop running integrated graphics which work perfectly fine until Windows decided to save that one time, but otherwise the only thing I would need is an upgrade for Blender. Yeah. Make an auto load and then you can just call one function to update values. I have one, it's only 28 lines of code. I mean, wouldn't you need to like nominate values to be updated to it? Like, I mean, yeah, you have it as a singleton, but then you would still need to like call that in your script every time you wanted to have an update. So like, imagining how this works is like, say in this character body, when I want to update the velocity, I just go and I say debug singleton, like debug dot like.
No, let me eat it. It sounds very tasty,
Update.
just like the
You
cyclone.
do something like that, and then you pass in the value, velocity, something like this. Is that what you mean? So basically, you just pass it all into the singleton, and the singleton handles it. That would actually be pretty cool. I should do that, and then I can just bring it to each of my projects, so that I don't have to set it up every time it's like this. Anyway. Another time. Okay, so we're making good progress on this. We're getting the basics down. We have got the world layer. So now we can switch worlds. Which is pretty good. But we also need to update the player's collision shapes so that he can actually interact with the correct world. That is probably the key thing. And so it really is just about figuring out that. Now, I'm pretty sure they're the same. So like the collision shape is 11 for the visibility. But for the collision physics layer, this is 11. And then for this, the physics layer is 1. So I guess we just we call a signal.
Stop, I have a stroke. Laptop and disconnecting my phone from my laptop. All I can hear is ding, 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 ding.
Sounds like a you problem, man. All right, that's easy enough. So basically what we'll do is we will have the player subscribe to a singleton, and that will basically update the player, will emit that signal. So basically what I'm thinking is that anything that needs to change, it's mostly just going to be the player. There could be other things in theory. In the ready function here, and we create a function called onChangeWorld, onWorldChanged. And it's going to take a current world. Actually, realistically, you could just give it like a list of layers to change to. You could just give it the bit mask. Like, right? Like, it doesn't really need to... keep track of that.
Ding,
it can
ding,
just like...
Ding, I'm about to punch you, laptop. Ding, 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 ding.
So it's just going to be a mask, and we'll just apply that mask to the collision layer. Make it plural. Let's make it a dictionary. There's going to be more eventually, because the character is very simple, but as you go up in complexity, I think things would change. I'm trying to think. I have another project. I need to check. I actually did. I forgot. Like, I originally thought that I had not done this since this video in 2021, but that's not true, right? If I go to my itch, which is here, it's actually one of the games that I made not that long ago. Where is it? Zombie Survivor Planetary Defense. Did I make it hidden? Did I hide the game? Dude, that's crazy. Why would I hide that? This is a good game. Give me a second. I can't show you the dashboard. It's got financial information on it. In parallel. That's awesome, dude. Thank you. So I actually did make this not that long ago, but it's not like a feature. It was just like an effect in the game. I need to check out this project to see how
I'm
I did
about
it here.
to punch my laptop over it going ding, 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 or Unity dot having a stroke.
I run my computers are all on mute. I don't care for sound at all.
A.
Twitch won't put the links. I don't know. I need to figure out how to allow links. So don't mind the low res. It was for a jam called the low res jam, and it was the dumbest idea ever to make a platformer for a low res jam because it's so hard to see, like with the trees in the background and everything. Skip the text. Basically walk over to this. And this is the exact same effect. And now you're just in a different place. And that was it. Like, but it's fundamentally the same thing. Look, they have the same shader. Get out of here, boys. Hurry up. Yo, how does this dash feel better than my dash from before? What the heck, man? Ouch. I might need to go back to the drawing board. I'm definitely like... There are still issues. Don't worry about that, actually. Ouch. Keep falling in the slime. I can't see anything. Okay. But this is essentially the same effect. I need to check this out. Still with rotation issues as well. Which is funny. I can't climb yet. It's so crazy. It's like 64 bits, so like the feet are just 1 pixel. I want to fight the boss. Boss fight. Die. Get stopped. You can bug him out. If you get him in the corner like this, he just gets stuck. Yeah, there's something better with that. It is nice to like have normalized direction, right? It's the same height no matter what. I need to look at how I'm getting the input. Anyway, that is a project that has this effect, and it literally is just for visuals. Like, there's no other reason for it. I just wanted to use it for the sake of using it, but I do need to check out that, because there was, from what I remember, basically, what I was trying to say is that the world mask that the player needs to take was far more complicated than just a single mask.
I don't like my
because of all the different things that the player needs to interact with, and the different things that are within your player.
I'm literally going crazy.
Sorry about your laptop, man. So like, obviously for this, we just got 1 collision shape, but if you had like raycasts for wall climbing, enemy detection, all that kind of stuff all needs to be changed over because you don't want to detect essentially enemies in one side of the world versus others. So if you had like enemies in both worlds, you don't want to like, no, it's not normalized. So you travel further diagonally than straight up. Okay. Right. Debug UI. Alright, okay, I'm lost now. I'm thinking about something else. We have to get subscribed to world change. So that doesn't actually exist at the moment. So it's going to be like, what is it called? World controller dot on world changed. Dot connect on world changed, and it's going to throw an error because that signal doesn't even exist yet. Oh, it's not going to throw an error. It's just going to let me do that. Right. Okay. You would think it would say something. Masks. I think it's a dictionary. I want it to be a dictionary. But that might be overkill. I don't know. And then we just need to go on world changed. Dot emit. And we need to pass a mask of some kind. So world one mask. Is a dictionary. And it would be something like the world collision. And you just sort of like world collision. And then you throw in the mask, which is the same here. So this is world one, the world collision here. That's all we've got for now. This will just expand. I think it will. I suspect it will. It depends. Since this is like we're doing a completely different build, our needs might change as time goes on. World collision. I mean, do I really need two dictionaries with the same data, or do I just need an array of different masks and then I just need to map that to a dictionary? I feel like I'm being inefficient. I don't know. I don't code for a job. Whatever. Okay. So we will reserve those for later. So basically, when we are going to world one, we emit that. Would be cool to see your debugger thing. Okay, yeah, we can do that after this because this is pretty much done now. So world one mask. And then in the player, basically what we do is we go, this just becomes like a gigantic function to change all your collision layers. But the collision mask changes.
Spicy pillow we still have in child's reach, and we have a 3-year-old, so fun.
What? I'm so confused by that. Masks dot, what is it called? World collision? Easy. The collision mask just gets changed over, and then we can just test this out. If we go to the world, we can make an example where we can't get through, right? So we have this, right? We're back to front, I guess, so we can walk on this, but we're not colliding with it. Okay, so let's have a look. The player collision mask is not being set. it should be like this. And then you wouldn't be able to... Oh, am I not emitting the right thing? Hang on a second. I think I know what's wrong. World controller? Script? My God. We need to be emitting the right mask. That would be a bug. Okay. Okay, now we go here. And we go here. Okay. And we can only interact with one of the worlds. So that's how you do it. You obviously, you don't want to get stuck. We're going to have to like add some detection for that. Oh, okay.
Can I eat the bug?
What bug? Where's the bug? Oh, you mean the code bug. I thought I was having an Asmongold moment. Easy. And then you interact with this one and you're doing your thing. Nice. Great. Okay. Job done, really. We'll expand. Don't worry. Okay. Let's have a look at the debug thing. Can't even use my phone, not even TTS, because laptop keeps sending phone notifications to access it. Ah, yeah. Easy. I know what this is. Okay, so we create a new node. It's going to be, I guess, panel. Is that what you use there? Panel container. And then a margin container. And then a VBox. That's inside of this. VBox. We'll go up and I'll put this in the singletons panel container. Debugger. Debuggerino. Debuggerino. Okay. Attach a script. Create. Let's have a look at this code. Okay, visible at ready, true. Property container ready, visible at ready, input debug. Okay, so you have to create a function for that. Update property FBS. Update property title string. Value order 180. Target property container find child title. Target label new. Add child target. Okay. Target text. Name. Property container move child. Is this hard coded though? Looks good though. I like this idea of having this node and just having it ready. Debug. I can't remember what the name of the input was. It's just debug. Cool. Make it the tilde. Quote left. Okay. Update property
I need to
is the
leave my
function.
laptop plugged in because
I need
Unity
to,
is
like,
installing stuff and no
add it.
battery. And there's no button to set the screen to be off, but it's still be on like my last laptop. But I won't sleep and I don't want to corrupt my Unity. And like 500 other things going through my mind at once.
Oh, it just stays there. Oh, you know what? It needs to be on the canvas layer. I think because Because 2D. I think. Set route. Make scene route. Is that gonna fuck things up for the... Oh, it does show up there. Over the top of my other one. Hang on a second. Oh, it just shows the FPS. Okay. Cool. And then you just add stuff to it? So what I think would work here... Update property? Or do you just like call this function wherever you want to update a property? And it just adds one. So if I just like do a property update in the player, does it just add a new one to that list? So if I go here and rather than emitting this signal, I just go debuggerino dot update property, and then it wants a title and I call it velocity, and then value is velocity, and then the rest is like optional. Cool. That's sick, dude. Oh, it broke. Non-existent function update property in base canvas layer. Oh, that's the problem. I have to move the script up to canvas layer because 2D. That's fine though. So we can just extend canvas layer, I guess.
Wanting to tell my mom I want to be a furry, but also not wanting to tell her because of what she might think. And if I don't tell her and she finds out, what will happen? And that silly no longer friend with the laptop and more.
Dude, I cannot help you with that. This is beyond my advice. That's crazy. You should just be yourself, but understand that sometimes that can lead to pain. That's all I'll say. Okay, unready property container. Debuggerino. I need to get access to this. The property container path is wrong. Yeah, this gets like messed up, right? Like you have to just update that VBox container. Hey, where'd you go? It's because the game's running? Script. Oh, because it's like popped out. Drag that back in there. And I think it should work now.
That's just a bunch of the other things that's going through my head all at once. And I know that. And hypno game.
Sweet. That works. And then you just have a new one. Okay. And then we can do state as well. And then we can get rid of mine. Just hide that for now. And the state machine, I guess it has an update. Player state machine. State machine. In the update physics, we can just go,
You silly Twitch. I did not push into enter.
State. Value variant is state.name. Current state. Dot name. That's cool. That's cool. I think I need to add a space, right? If I want it to be like the same. Very cool. Thank you very much. Whoa. What did I do? Is that just because I added like the semicolon? What the heck? Oh my god. I take it back.
And hypnotic_games said just take your time and tell her when you're ready.
Well then he's better at giving advice than me. Because I would say this about myself. I was a pretty weird kid when I was growing up. And I found that very often being that person led to like a lot of bullying. So I just stopped being that person. So I guess I don't know how old you are, but like for me, you know, it was just like at the end of the day, you're better off just masking. That would say like from my own personal experience, but you know, times have changed. Maybe it's not like that anymore. Child motion, you can get children. Yeah, I kind of don't like the semicolon. That's really funny. State machine. Where else did I put it? Player state machine. State machine. There. Don't like semicolons. That's okay. That's good enough for me. Oh, right. Yeah, is it like regex or whatever they call it? Target property find child. Oh wow, yeah, it's gotta go. Okay, find title. If not target. Right, label new, add child target. Target name equals title. Target text string value plus prefix. Oh, very cool, dude. Nice little simple script. And with that, we're pretty close to like having this going. We've got the visuals. GooseFat said he's 16, okay. But there's some people in grade 7 barking, so I don't even know at this point. Yeah, I don't know. Furry wasn't really a thing when I was a kid.
I am 16 in grade 10, but there is some people in grade 7 barking at people, so I don't even know at this point.
Is it really that common? I thought it was like an online myth. What do I know? I'm just some old man. Okay, cool. And we've got the side to side. So I guess we have to look at area detection. Is that what we have to do next? Like we shouldn't be able to do this. Don't want to get stuck. Yeah, I mean, it's nice and simple and it just does the thing. You just press a... like, you do want it to be that... Like, for me to create a new node, create a signal and emit that signal is, like, a lot. Compared to just, like, yeah, you just call a singleton code, like a singleton function, and it's done. Ooh. Okay, so detection. You can use an area node. I don't think kinematic body has the ability to tell. So basically you can have like a little area node on the player that basically you can prompt for an update when you're changing to check. The problem is...
No, I am following at least 4 or 5 on Twitch and a couple too many on YouTube.
Yeah, I figured it was more of an internet thing. So, we run into this problem. I've seen this before in some of the other projects that I've worked on, where you want the world controller to be in control of this. But it does need to check first. The problem is it doesn't have any concept of the world. It's just a node and it's just giving this instruction to change the viewports layer. And also it's giving an update to the player to say, hey, change this. But the player is the one that we need to get information from in order to know whether or not it's okay to even do. So we have to probably put a request into the player to say, hey, is there any reason why you can't do this? And right now this is only interacting with the player, but I'm assuming as the complexity grows and there's enemies and stuff like that, you're going to want to update theirs, or is it just something that the player interacts with?
And that friend that stole that laptop that used to be my friend also was a furry, so not really.
Yeah. So we can go, I guess we just go like, and we just call another function, or does this just like, am I over engineering it? Is that just how it is? Dude, what is that emoji? It's like an ox or something? Yeah, interesting. Because in all the newer versions of this, I have never considered like whether or not the player can and how you can interact with that as a concept. You register the player and call a function to check. Is that what we do? We just like, we basically call a function on the player to find out if it's okay. I'm trying to think ahead about what this will look like when it's more fleshed out. Change world. It's a mustache and the bottom part is shaking. Ah. I thought it was an animal for sure. What the heck? I don't understand that. Oh, Angie. She's chasing something in her dreams. Get him. It doesn't come through the microphone. It's never gonna get picked up, but the microphone's way too sensitive for that. I don't know what she's chasing after in her dreams. What are you doing? Alright. It might not look like much. She's making a lot of noise behind me. Okay. Concerning amount of noise. Yeah, I guess. I'm just gonna do it and then we'll worry about it later. I think that's the only way to go. Go with area 2D. We need to add a collision shape. Add a shape. Capsule shape is fine. That's fine. this only does one thing, world change detection. And it literally just needs to go with the opposite. So if you're on the second world, you need to be detecting world 1. And if you're on world 1, you need to be detecting world 2. Realistically, if we make it within the collision shape, so if we like, we could just like make this even more simplified. If it's within the character's collision shape, it's only going to be detecting, like you can detect both, it's only going to detect the one that you're not supposed to be in, if that makes sense. We can probably cheat around that. World change detection, create. So if we just go like area detected, this area entered, that's fine. Go back to the player. Just as a test to make sure I'm sane on this. Why did I choose area? It's gotta be body. What happens when you don't wear your glasses? You can't see anything. Oh, I can use the debuggerino. Dot update property. A lot of emojis flying in the chat. Shout out. Body.name. I can't use those. I forgot. Detected. Okay, so how I expect this to work. I want a comma. Why am I so bad at this today? So, there's essentially a section over here. Tile map layer. So detailed. Oh, it detected the player. Hilarious. But yes, you can see it detect the tile map layer. Okay. Go to the Discord. You mean this? This is like life. Wrong, correct. Sometimes I have to go even further than that. That is just like how it is. Okay, so number one, the player should not be on this layer. We need to like have a second one for the player. Light mask. Collision. Why is it set up this way? It should be 2-1. Always. And then it detects that. Okay. Right. And so what we can do is we can create a function within this. To like check.
Like it's the right round, but it just says no, I'm actually going crazy. I probably should sleep, but my laptop is still doing Unity things.
Damn. You can't just like walk away from it? I do that all the time. Just leave it. It'll still be there in the morning. Okay, so what are we going to do here? This needs to be registered somehow with the... So I guess on ready or like... Yeah, let's do this. So we'll go to the world controller and we'll give this a variable called player area detection. area 2D, and it won't have anything there. And then what we'll do is in the player on the area, basically on the ready, we'll just go world controller. By the way, my OCD detected the parameter prefix is named wrongly. It should be suffix in the debugger script. Dude, I don't even know the meaning of those words. Prefix and suffix. I failed English. What's a prefix? It goes before something. OCD parameter prefix is named wrongly and should be called suffix. Debuggerino. Hang on a second. What does that even mean? This should be called suffix? Suffix means it goes at the end, right? Am I crazy for thinking that? Target now, well, I guess it is at the end, you're right. It kills the power cord, there's no battery, so instant death. Oh, my phone, then I get 1 million ding ding ding. Prefix is before, suffix is after. I guess that the pre in the prefix, it's prefix, that makes sense. Am I so bad at English, man? It's not my first language. Okay. World controller just player area detection equals self. Okay. So we just pass that on. And then in a little bit of a irresponsible coding, I don't know. It's so important, you know. Listen, man, I'll be at work and people will be like, the date on the piece of paper is wrong. And they'll get mad at me for that. And I'm like, it doesn't. Does that matter? Like, you know, it's the right piece of paper. I wouldn't give it to you otherwise. And they'll just go into like a crazy, they're like, it says January. Yeah, in the top left-hand corner, in tiny little, you know, font. You could break the whole game. Okay, so Funk. 6 out of 18, so gonna be here for a long time. I do not really want to present over the screen because fire and screen won't turn off. I don't even know what to do at this point. I'm going crazy. The only option is in my head at the moment. Yeah, I don't know, man. Sounds like you should probably do your updates earlier. Change world, check for overlapping worlds. It's going to return a bool. I don't like the name of this function. Let's just go safe to change. Why is it being weird? Why is it doing this? Every time I click, I'm not pressing anything. What's going on? It's like a shift is permanently pressed. It's the other shift. Oh my god, what's wrong with the keyboard? Safe to change. And then it returns a bool. Eight out of 19 for the updates. This is why you should just switch to Godot. It's like Unity has like 1 million updates. It's massive. Same with Unreal Engine. I like Unreal Engine. I genuinely like Unreal Engine. But like keeping and maintaining the updates. Also the fact that it does run on Linux, but it's like kind of annoying to do, is like it makes it so annoying. Like, big updates like that, can't stand it. How does double swing doors in a 3D FPS sound? Like you know, like ones at restaurants and stuff, like when you push them, they go both directions and they kind of swing funny, like a festoon. Is that what they're called? Or like yeah, it's like in restaurants and stuff, right? I've only seen those double swing doors when I worked in like a supermarket in the back rooms and stuff. They had them so that like people could just push their big like containers and stuff around without having to worry about opening and closing doors. if it was me, I'll be honest with you.
What I'm imagine
done-
trying to run that on integrated graphics. And I don't know any other language except C++.
Wait, if you just know C++, then wouldn't you be better off using Unreal? My crappy laptop takes too long to compile anything. Yeah, it's like, it's a pain in the ass to like do all that kind of stuff. I like the engine, I like the way it looks. A lot of the tools, really cool. But it's just like, it's too much, man. It's too hard. I ain't got time for that. I'm gonna write some below average code. Yeah, double swing doors. Okay, so like I was gonna say this. I haven't done doors before in like, I have actually. I've always done sliding doors because they're easier, right? But like if I was gonna do like doors that open and close, I think I'm just gonna make them always open away from the player, even if they are like doors don't work like that in real life. If it's a single player game, just make them always open away from the player, right? Am I crazy for thinking that? I don't know. Like stuff having to like make sure the player can move away. I mean, I'm so lazy, I would just make it like clip through the player. Like who cares? It's not an important detail. Like some people say it's hard, but it's like, it doesn't have to be hard. It can just look bad.
Yes, but no GPU and running Unity only half works.
But if you don't have a GPU, wouldn't you be better off with Godot anyway? Godot runs, you can do C++ with Godot, and it's way lighter. You don't, I don't know. Gonna advocate. Save to change. Okay, so we get the player detection area, and then we go, yeah, is it get overlapping areas? Does that force an update? We want bodies, by the way. And they swing. Okay, that's kind of cool. Like, yeah, you don't even have to like press a button, right? You just walk into it and it just opens. I think that's the way to go. It returns a list of intersecting bodies and tile maps. Overlapping bodies collision layer must be part of this collision layer's mask in order to be detected. For performance reasons, collisions are all processed at the same time. This is modified once during the physics step, not immediately after objects are moved. Consider using signals instead. It's like, don't do this. It's the only way to know in the moment. You could raycast, I guess, but like, has overlapping bodies. Consider using signals instead. Returns true if the fizzle allows, otherwise overlapping bodies. Maybe this is a better function. It just returns a true and false. I don't actually even need to do anything. Like I don't need a function if their one exists already. You know what I'm saying? Like, save to change is just like has overlapping bodies. So you basically go when change world happens, you go if player detection has overlapping bodies, not areas, then return. Like you just don't do it. That's nice and simple. I don't know about Godot. Half auto saves, it kills itself like it's going to do. Godot, yeah, it doesn't really have an auto save. Okay, so now if I go over here, it doesn't work. But if I come back, and one of the things I did in the old version of this was basically I gave like a visual feedback to show the player that they're like over an area and they weren't able to, and that was it. And so now, if you jump up into this, it's not until after. Cool. That's awesome. And then I think the only thing that I'm not doing right now is I'm starting out, I guess, technically, I need to do like on a ready. So if I go to the world controller, in the ready function, we probably want to call change worlds we probably want a starting world. Why is the enum all the way down here? What the heck? What's going on? That's because these dictionaries got me confused. This enum should be up the top, right? I can't remember whether or not enums go before signals. I forget all the time. I think in the state machine I have that somewhere. Motion? Okay, signals, constants, statics. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yes. I should sleep now since it's finished. Yeah, go to sleep, man. It's not worth it. Or you said it's done. Starting world. I guess it's like the current world is world layer 1. What the heck? Is a world layer is equal to world layer world 1 rather than having a current world layer. I don't know. So we got change world, but we don't have a starting world. So set starting world. This is the last function, and then I'm going to sleep because I feel the crazies. Basically, we're going to get viewport. Basically, should we just like take this match? Because this does the opposite. Set starting world. This I don't know. This is like kind of bad, eh? What happened to that? What the heck? World 1 goes to world 1. Funk. Ready. Set starting world. Probably should take a world. And actually, you know what? You can just like match the starting world. And if it's world 1, then we make it world 1. But before I go, what would be worse? Stabbing your toe every time you get up from my chair? Stabbing my toe every time I get up from my chair? Or anything you're scared of? Snakes, and a snake that follows you around but never attacks you. Like, snakes, man. Snakes. What'd be worse? Stubbing your toe. Do you mean stabbing or stubbing? Because if it's stabbing, I mean, either way. Something that I'm scared of that follows me around but never attacks me versus pain, like real pain. I think I'm going to take the thing that follows you around but never attacks you. Right? That just makes more sense. That's just less pain. I guess it depends on your mental fortitude. If you didn't tell me it's never going to attack me, I might choose differently. Like if you just said, oh, you have to choose between stabbing your toe versus having a snake in your house that follows you around all the time, I might just choose something different. Bonking your toe or being scared of a snake that's already following you, but never. But that's even better. I just have to stub my toe. But like still, I mean, that's not that painful. And then I don't have a snake in my house. I think I'm going to take the toe. At the end of the day, I'll take the toe. All right, set starting world. We've done it. Let's just make sure this works so that visually everything makes sense. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then we can run around. Cool. Okay, everything is working how expected. I think it's just visual and then expansion. Happy days. I should set up a GitHub for this so that I can share it. And then we'll be done. How good's that, guys? I survived the cyclone. What does it look like right now? It feels really calm outside. I haven't been like getting jump scared by the window or anything. No, mate. I mean, I guess it's still raining. I just can't hear it. I got the big red one coming. Cool. Okay. I guess I'm in for another couple of days of rain. It's got stuck. So the cyclone came up north, and then it's just sitting here now and just raining on the coast. Woohoo. They somehow think it's going to be over here in a couple of hours. I have strong doubts. And then here by the next day. That's like an entire country's worth of distance. I just don't see it. But we'll see. But I'm going to leave your power on just for you. Thank you. I don't think I'm going to lose power now. Anyway, guys. Thanks for coming by. This has been a weekend special where I stream more than I have in the past because I didn't really feel like doing my actual job, which is finishing the course that I've been working on, which is close to being done. I think I've done the code. I had to redo the flippin' weapon system because I completely changed how it was going to work from the time that I was working on it like 4 months ago. So I've redone that. Would you rather pay less tax, making you 40% richer, but your expenses increase by 20%, or pay more tax and nothing changes? Wait, what? Listen, we should reduce the tax of the individual, increase the tax of the corporation. Just saying. Get those rich companies that just ruin everything. That's what I think. Tax the corporations, tax the rich, don't tax me. This is shader. Cool. Alrighty, guys. I will see you some other time. Yeah. Who knows when? Latin sounds. I feel like I'm back in Puglia. It's nice.